What's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles welcoming you to another edition of Lyles Figure Files. I'm so hyped up. San Diego Comic Con is well underway, and I've got a few minutes before the Muhammad Ali WWE Ultimate Edition figure comes up on creationsmattel.com. So I figured I'd crank out another video. And while I thought I was going to do a WWE themed deep dive into everything Mattel revealed, MAFEX came through. They entered the chat and were like, hey, we've got some San Diego Comic Con offers that you're going to be interested in as well. And boy, was I. There's so much stuff that I'm really excited about, including the most important thing that I want a toy company to do with the figure line. And I'll break all into that later. But first up, I want to show one of their solicitations that are coming up real soon. And this isn't one that had me excited. This was one that was another disappointment. One of the rare disappointments for them. But let's get into that first off. It's the Captain America figure. And they've been having a little bit of struggles with the main Avengers, the comic book versions. This one's weird. I mean, look at this big seam here, and I just don't understand how they could have this right there. I mean, that looks so ugly. And it's like, what's happening? Why'd y'all think that was acceptable? I mean, this Captain America figure is just kind of a bit of a disappointment all around. You see here with the different head sculpts. This one's pretty decent. But I really think this was a perfect opportunity to give us a shaded black circle area here. I mean, this is something, they've got multiple head sculpts, so they could have done something a little bit different. I mean, with the Magneto, they had that fully shaded black head sculpt underneath the helmet so you could get that illusion of the silhouette so you can't even see anything but his eyes and his mouth. I thought that was really cool for that figure, but here's a perfect opportunity for it. This gritted teeth expression, I don't know, it looks kind of like he's wearing braces, so it's kind of weird on that end too. This head sculpt, this unmasked one, I like that one. It's pretty decent, but again, there's something not quite Steve Rogers with this head sculpt, and the hair, I'm kind of getting distracted with the reverse Superman swoosh, but I don't know, it makes him look kind of like Robert Redford and not Steve Rogers. So something off with that likeness. Because then we have the main look here, and I just, again, not really feeling this Captain America. His shield looks nice and big, so that's a plus. So he can actually block things. That's cool. But he looks a little too small. Like I figured they had shown this and we're like, hey, this is the body we're using for Hawkeye. I would have thought that's a perfect scale for him. But for Captain America, I'm thinking a little bit more walking tank kind of a deal where he's a little bit bigger, like he's been working out and has a super serum formula on him or in him. But this one just doesn't really do much for me. I was really disappointed with how it turned out. And here's another shot at Cap in full motion here. And again, you can see this seam. I guess this is just going to be part of the figure. I thought maybe that was just one bad angle, but it looks like this is just going to be how that figure looks. And this is really ugly and not at all like what I'm expecting out of MAFEX. And normally their figures are so good. Maybe they have a little bit of like, oh man, how far can I move this? But this is just really not the norm for them. And I'm kind of disappointed with how it turned out. And there seems to just be a lack of detail. I mean, the boots don't really have a ton of seams and folds. There's a little bit right here, but I don't know. It just seems overall to be lacking everything I really wanted in a Captain America MAFEX figure. But then, after the Captain America disappointment faded and waned, I really need to show you this one because it was like, what is happening with MAFEX? And this is the Thor figure. And this one really disappointed me because I'm like, what happened? This kind of reminds me of back in the days with the Secret Wars line where everyone's the same height and same scale. I mean, Thor barely looks bigger than Spider-Man and Magneto, and it's just all bad. You don't know what's going on with Magneto's belt here, but I don't really love the way that looks either. But man, this Thor, it just doesn't have a neck, doesn't have any size. It's just way too small. Just a real disappointment. So when you put him and you put Captain America, it's really a bad deal in terms of being a Marvel MAFEX collector. And I feel like this is one where, because Marvel Legends exists, they really have to come through and deliver better figures consistently. So then they kind of show up and they're like, well, we can do that. We can actually do a better figure than some of these other ones that we've been doing. And this one really has me excited and interested in the possibilities, what they can do when they're knocking out figures at their absolute best. This is Phoenix, and she looks incredible. I feel like the ones we've gotten from Hasbro haven't been as great as they could be, but this figure here is a real show stealer for me, and she really turned out great. She's got a bunch of different head expressions, head sculpts, and I feel like we finally got her hair better so she can be posed without affecting anything. She's got a real nice gold sash going. You can see the gold elements of this outfit, which looks a lot better than some of the other ones we've seen. And here's the different head sculpts. And this one, this calm one, that really looks great. I think this is kind of the same one they used for the Jean Grey, minus a few different parts to it, with the head cowl and all that good stuff. The angry head sculpt, so it's not quite going into Dark Phoenix mode, but she's like, "You're gonna leave my boy alone, Magneto." And then we've got this one here. This is a great head sculpt. I think this is one of the best head sculpts I've seen this year. And just with the flowing hair, the whited out eyes, the serious expression, that to me is Phoenix. And I think they really, really nailed that here. Here's another look at her, and you can see this gold really pops, and it's just a great looking figure. And I'm just as disappointed as I was with Captain America. Phoenix is so much better. So I'm really, really happy with how that turned out. I think they really did a great job with her figure, and just like, man, you guys, this is what you can do when you're on it, and just do that all the time consistently. Because, man, look at that shot. I just imagine her with my Dark Phoenix era Hasbro Marvel Legends Cyclops. And just, man, that is the great stuff in an X-Men collection right there. So I'm looking forward to seeing how she looks after some reviewers get their hands on her, because I could see myself grabbing her very quickly. And then we got some prototypes, some new reveals, and I'm not quite sure how far they're going to get into this, because, again, it's another company starting Age of Apocalypse, and that is such a massive, massive undertaking. Hasbro's knocked out two full waves of Age of Apocalypse, and there's still probably another two that you could viably do and not get all the important characters. So it's really wild. It's a huge, massive undertaking. MAFEX decided, let's kick off with two of the most important ones. So we got Cyclops, and he's just still in a grayscale prototype here. See him in the background. He looks pretty good, though. Looks like he has a little bit more detail. Looks a lot better than the one we got from Hasbro with the Marvel Legends version. And then, of course, we've got Wolverine. He's showing, got his claw sticking through the stump section, and the big surprise reveal from that storyline. He looks really good, though. I love how wild they've got his hair going. I thought we could see his irises, so I'm a little bit surprised that they're whited out here. But the sculpting detail, I can see that sculpted in the outfit, so that looks good. I don't think I need to get another company's take on Age of Apocalypse, but if I were, these would look really good. And I may actually find myself going and grabbing that Cyclops, just because Cyclops is my favorite X-Men, and I'm always down to get a new and better Cyclops. But here's Daredevil, and I think he really looks good. I feel like they do a better job with the slender Marvel characters like Spider-Man. So Daredevil's, not surprising, turned out really well also, and he's just got really nice designs here. I'm trying to see if this is the cane attachment here, and this is just his regular Billy Club staff, or if you can take this off and straighten it up. Maybe that looks like it could be the case, because it seems like there's a little bit of a hook on the back end of this. And love that expression for him. He looks really good. It's that MAFEX Iron Man, which really had me thinking maybe if they do more Avengers this quality, I'll go all in and get them. But so far, Iron Man's been the exception to the Avengers so far from MAFEX. But Daredevil really turned out nice. And I think he is another good example of what they can do when they're really on top of their game with these Marvel figures. Next up, continuing that trend of the smaller figures looking better, it's a Spider-Man 2099. You see the detail in that head sculpt. That looks fantastic. Then he's got the little Batman cuffs on his glove or his forearms. That looks great. You can see the detail sculpted in on his chest logo. That also looks really great. And you know he's going to have a ton of articulation. So that's going to be really cool. And I can't wait to see how that figure looks fully painted, fully done up, because you know he's going to look amazing, because they always do those figures well. Now let's move on to DC. And this is where, to me, they really stole some of the show here, because check out this Scarecrow from Hush. I mean, wow. This head sculpt is phenomenal. I mean, you can actually see the eyes through the mask holes, and they're done so well. He looks creepy, crazy, intense, and the detail work of the mask with the mouthpiece, really cool. And the hair also looks great. He looks gangly like a scarecrow should. Look at all that detail, the stitching on his feet, the little cords around his ankles, and just all the stitching here. I mean, this could be one of the best figures in that Hush lineup. And that includes a lot of really strong figures. So that Scarecrow can come in this late in that wave and just be like, hey, I'm here. Check me out. It's really impressive. And I think he is phenomenal. I still wish that Joker was a little bit different. Again, that is how Jim Lee drew him. So that I can't be too upset with how they chose to do the Joker. But I don't know. I'm kind of like, maybe I should get the Joker and complete this full Hush lineup, because this guy looks really great. And then we move on to another one who also looks really great. And it's Eddie Nigma, the Riddler himself. This is a different take on Riddler because he's got the hair going. And we see that I kind of felt like his hair was brown in Hush. So I'm not quite sure what's going on with his hair. This cane looks like it could have more detail. It's really plain. It's just kind of like this. And I don't know about that. Look, I'm not loving that, but I like his expression. He looks nice and intense. So you can have him chasing down or being chased down by Nightwing and Batman to complete that issue. And the belt and the buckles on his shoes look really good. And he's a suited figure, so he's not gonna look as fantastic as Scarecrow, but I think they did a really nice job with how he turned out. And of course, because I'm curious, I just need to see, hey, is this the case? Is this really how he looked in Hutch? I feel like Jim Lee drew him a little bit different, and I kind of think his whole look was a little bit different. And so I'm checking through right now, and yeah, that is the case. He is far more rocking a bit more brown in his hair. So I kind of figured maybe we'll still have a chance, time for them to fix that, because normally they're not really off on their likenesses of figures. So you can see here, brown hair for sure, and don't really have a good look at that cane from this image, but that should be a little bit more of how he looks instead of what we got with that figure. So there's still time, I hope, for them to fix that and actually give us more of a Riddler look that's consistent with how he actually looks, and as opposed to this version that we have here, which needs more brown. And I think he's also got a little question mark in that hat too. So he's one they could probably tweak just a bit more, but I'm glad to see Riddler's in this. He's really important, of course, to the Hush storyline. So if we got any other villain for this thing besides maybe Ra's al Ghul, we absolutely desperately needed him. And for me, this was might even be the show stealer for today, depending on what happens with Marvel Legends from Hasbro. But MAFEX said, you know what, guys? We're not going to string you along for years and years and years. We're actually going to complete the reign of the Supermen really soon, really quickly. So right away, here we go. We've got Superboy and the Eradicator, the last two pretender Supermen. And we've got Steel. Pull him up because I just got him today. So excited. I guess not today, just a couple days ago, but I got Steel and I cannot wait to open this bad boy. I need to find a better deal on Cyborg Superman, but he is going to be in my collection as well. And now there's no concern. There's no worry. We're getting the Eradicator, who looks fantastic. They did a really great job with his cape, kind of getting that overarching Thor look to it. That's really cool. Check out his S symbol. It's really big, really prominent. They did the goggle visor deal really well too. He's got that Superman S chilling there. So he looks great. I can't wait to see what kind of effects they give him. Maybe they'll do a translucent hand so they can do that energy blast where he's just wiping out Metropolis's criminals and showing how extreme he can be as the Eradicator. But Superboy also looks fantastic. I think they really knocked out his outfit. You see all the detail on his leather jacket with the zippers there. Got the buckles hanging loose. His little side belts as well. The strap for no reason on his thigh. And the boots also have that good look. My only concern, my only worry is that he's going to be the same height as everybody else when he's a teenager and should be much smaller. But hopefully they've got that covered. And you can see here with this jacket, it kind of almost looks like they did a real leather type deal where it doesn't look like it's folded up the same way as if it was sculpted in plastic. maybe they did some sort of deal where they have a really soft, pliable material, kind of like they do with the capes, because this does not look like it's folding, but it also doesn't look like it's impairing any of his articulation. I'm really excited to see these guys and just so happy that MAFEX didn't drag this thing out where it's like we're going to wait so long before we give you the rest of them. But now, of course, I'm greedy. So I want Supergirl, I want Green Lantern, and I think this is a perfect opportunity for them to deliver a Green Lantern in this line where we get Hal Jordan with his sling after he gets it broke by Mongol. And then they can give us two alternate head sculpts, one with basic brown hair and then one with the graying temples, so we can show that look. So we can have an accurate Reign of the Superman look for him. But then if you wanted, you could just go super classic and have Hal Jordan with all brown hair, and that would be really great. And they deliver some crazy constructs. So I'm really hoping now that we've got all the main core characters from the line knocked out, that Mongol's coming up soon. I mean, they've already done a big figure. We've seen the grayscale prototype for Bane. Or I guess we've seen the full deal of Bane. And I'm talking about grayscale. They've shown us Bane. They're not afraid to do bigger characters. So maybe Mongol can be possible. Maybe do him, Hal Jordan, show them both up after we get these two. Then a Supergirl / Matrix version. If they want to get really wild and crazy, give us Lex Luthor with the flowing red hair, the Alexander Luthor version. That would be really cool. And, just call it a day. And then if you just want to have fun just for it, just give us another Superman, have him with the mullet hair, short hair, call it a whole wrap on this whole storyline. I'm excited that they're so committed to finishing that up, because that was the line that didn't have to be really long and take so much time to knock out. And they didn't, so that's cool. And the fact that they're colored, it's not a deal of, oh, here's just a grayscale, means they're going to be coming sooner rather than years and years. It won't be like August 2024 before we see them. That is so exciting, and I cannot wait to have those guys chilling in the centerpiece of my MAFEX DC collection. So let's move on now, because I know at least Aftonchild has been asking about them. The boys, more additions to that lineup. So here's A-Train looking really good, all his glory, and the detail on his outfit looks really great. I mean, you can check out those forearms, the spikes there, and the detail on his boots. Those look really great. You see the rib section of his torso joint there too. Got the goggles. Wanted they come off, or so you can swap, or maybe they just have a swappable head. That's probably what they do in that case. Queen Maeve, she also looks great. And I love the fact that you can see Starlight and Homelander, and there's a real difference in their height. He's much taller than her. That's awesome to see. Don't know when these figures are coming out though, but it's nice to see we're getting more members of the boys. And then speaking of boys, Soldier Boy is coming as well. And wow, he looks great. Check out that shield detail. Really awesome work. And then his torso has some great sculpting elements as well. I mean, I just love the work they do in these figures in general, but he looks really, really good. There's Black Noir. Don't see when he's coming. All these pictures are courtesy of Brad Pitt. Probably not the Brad Pitt, but he provided a bunch of really nice shots on location at San Diego for us. So thank you. Shout out to Brad Pitt for these. Here is the Deep. He's got his soda, his drink as well. And you can just see all that detail on his costume. Phenomenal work, as always, from the crew at MAFEX. So we got the boys. We've got Nightfall, we got Hush, we've got Reign of the Supermen. The only real disappointment for me is we did not see a new Tim Drake Robin. I didn't care if it was from Nightfall or from Hush. That's the one figure that I was like, oh man, we still don't have him yet. So I still got my long list of MAFEX DC characters I want to see done. I think Tim Drake now has to take the top of the list, and then Green Lantern, Mongol, so I can get some more of this Reign of the Superman, go all the way out with it. Supergirl, and then they've knocked out Superman. Maybe we can get just a basic classic Superman. But then it's time to move on to something else. I'm hoping we see a Flash Road War. That way we can cheat and get Flash and all of his rogues. That would be a really easy storyline to get so many great Flash characters out there with. And then, of course, there's Green Lantern, so they could do Sinestro Corps War. They could do Blackest Night, where they could work in all the various Lantern Corps members, and that would be really great to have them. We could do, of course, Hal, John Stewart, Guy Gardner, Cal Rayner, Atrocitus, Sinestro, Star Sapphire, Airwalker. I mean, so many characters, Larfleeze that we could just knock out under the whole wide Blackest Night umbrella. So there's another opportunity for a wave and a line that they can really sink their teeth into and just keep cranking out characters for so long. And maybe if I can get my pipe dream, a Justice League International wave where we just do all those characters in that style of Kevin Maguire. You know, you can see that behind me. There we go. So yeah, I would love to see those guys from MAFEX, and there's so many characters. They hit so many classic characters. So if they were to do that, that would be awesome as well. So lots of good stuff from MAFEX. My wallet's going to take a pounding from them, but I don't care because these figures look really awesome. And like I said, so happy to have more Reign of the Superman to complete that series. Now it's time to track down Cyborg Superman. Of course, we'll be back later on today talking about all the Marvel Legend reveals from Hasbro and my progress report. And if I was able to get that Muhammad Ali from Mattel with their Ultimate Edition San Diego Comic-Con. As always, thank you so much for watching. This episode of the House Figure Files has been filed.